Hi, I'm Craig, founder of Penguin. Let me ask you something. If you're no longer here, heaven forbid, if you had passed away yesterday, where do you think your money would be in 20 years' time? It's an odd question, isn't it? Most people know who they want to leave their money to. Very few have ever stopped to think about where it might actually end up. Because life has a habit of getting in the way. Children get divorced, people remarry, businesses fail, relationships change, grandchildren arrive, tax rules evolve. People make brilliant financial decisions and sometimes they make dreadful ones. Yet despite all that uncertainty, most people still leave their life's work with one simple instruction. Leave it to the kids. Now don't get me wrong, there's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting your children to inherit everything you've built. The question is, what happens after that? So let me introduce you to Mr. and Mrs. Penguin. They've spent 40 years doing what most families do. Working hard, paying the mortgage, saving regularly, building pensions and investments, perhaps helping the children along the way. By the time they reach later life, let's imagine they've built an estate worth around £1 million. Not because they won the lottery, simply because they did lots of sensible things over a very long period of time, including owning a house and building a pension. They have two children, Pingu and Penny. Now if Mr. and Mrs. Penguin have straightforward wills, when they're both gone, the money simply passes to the children. Job done. Except life doesn't just stop because mum and dad are no longer here. Let's imagine Pingu gets divorced 5 years later. Should half of mum and dad's life work become part of that divorce? Most parents would probably say no. Or perhaps Penny dies before her husband. Should everything her parents built automatically drift into another family? Again, most parents would say no. Or perhaps Pingu suddenly decides he's always fancied only 3 Ferraris, a yacht and a small tropical island. Unlikely, although if he buys the Ferrari, I'd quite like a lift. The point is this: once money is inherited outright, it's no longer mum and dad's money. It's theirs. And with that comes all the opportunities and all the risks. And that is exactly why so many Penguin families choose something called a Beneficiary Protection Trust, sometimes known as a family trust. Now don't let the name put you off, it's actually a remarkably simple idea. Imagine mum and dad don't hand Pingu and Penny a suitcase full of money. Instead they place their family wealth inside a protective wrapper. Pingu and Penny can still use it, they can still buy a home, move house, help their own children, start a business. The trust isn't there to stop them living their life, it's there to stop life taking the money somewhere mum and dad never intended. If Pingu gets divorced, the family wealth is far more likely to remain protected. If Penny dies before her husband, the trust can ensure the money ultimately reaches the grandchildren rather than accidentally leaving the Penguin bloodline altogether. If one of the children simply isn't great with money, the trust allows the family to help without handing everything over in one go. And that's the bit I love most, because this isn't about controlling your children, it's about protecting opportunities for them. Helping them buy their first home, helping educate the grandchildren, helping during difficult times, being there when life happens. Most parents don't mind their children enjoying their inheritance, they just don't want to watch a lifetime of hard work disappear because of one bad relationship, one poor decision, or one unfortunate twist of fate. You see, people often think estate planning is about tax, and sometimes it is, but in our experience it's far more about love. It's about parents quietly asking one question: I've spent my whole life building this, how do I make sure it still looks after the people I love when I'm no longer around? And that's what this planning is really about. Is a family trust right for everyone? Maybe not. Every family is different, every financial plan is different. But if you've worked hard to build wealth and you'd like the very best chance of keeping that wealth within your family for generations to come, it's certainly a conversation worth having. Because building wealth is one thing, keeping it in your family, that's a different kind of planning. And there's another benefit that's often overlooked. Let's imagine Pingu and Penny inherit $500,000 each from mum and dad. If he or she owned that money personally and is still part of their estate when they die, it could potentially be subject to inheritance tax all over again before it reaches their own children. In other words, the very same family wealth could be taxed twice in the space of one generation. With a Beneficiary Protection Trust, a family trust, the original family wealth can remain outside of your children's estate using this loan agreement, helping it pass down to future generations far more efficiently. The money you've spent a lifetime building has the opportunity to keep working for your family rather than gradually reducing every time it moves from one generation to the next. If you'd like to understand whether family trust could be right for your family, download our family trust guide or get in touch with the team at Penguin. We'll happily explain everything in plain English using stickmen, no legal jargon, no pressure, just a conversation about protecting the people who matter the most. Thanks for watching.